Today's episode's brought to you by Factor. Factor's got good meals delivered right to your home. Let's jump into this podcast. Hello, everybody. It's time for Cox and Crendor.
Cox and Crendor in the morning.
In the morning. Broadcasting live. Before our recording studio. Recording. Wake your ass up. It's up next Crendor in the morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the episode of Cox and Crendor in the morning.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Hey. We're back. We're here.
It's true. Yeah. And you're up. I'm so shocked.
That's true.
Look at you. New Crendor, new day.
That's right. I've been waking up before noon for pretty much a week now.
I'd like to think you've turned over a new leaf, but I know it's just because you're bored.
Well, not in particular. Well, it started because of that.
Toast left. Toast went off to go, live her life and go to a convention, and you were alone.
Yes.
And that's, you know what? You got that married man problem where you're like, I don't know how to live without you.
I mean, you're not wrong, but yes, I felt like you, because
what do you mean by this?
Well, whenever you'd be like, I had nothing to do, so I just went to bed, and I was like, I don't get it, but now I got it. I would do all my stuff. And then I'd be like, well, I got nothing to do now.
Yeah. At a certain point, it's like 10 p.m. And yeah, you could stay up and watch TV or play a game or do anything. Or you could go to bed.
Yeah. Plus, I was like, it was getting to the point with my sleep schedule where I wanted to change it a bit anyway. So we were going to bed at like 5 a.m. and then the sun was coming up. So even with blackout curtains and stuff, if you had to go to the bathroom, you're just you just see the sun out there and you're just like, eh. But now at a healthy 3:30 a.m.
Right, the healthiest of times.
Yeah, it's still dark outside, and then I still get my 8 hours sleep, and I wake up 11:30. So it's technically before noon.
I'm excited for you. Yeah.
Yeah, the nice part is if I got to get up earlier, it's not as bad, So that's kind of nice.
Right. Also, from what I've read, if you're going to die in the night, most people die around 4 a.m. So at least you'll be asleep for that. So that's pretty good.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. The positives.
Yeah, you got to look on the bright side, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, pretty much I would also watch sumo wrestling.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, what got you on sumo wrestling? Was it because there's been a lot of stuff going around right now that's footballer, sumo wrestler, or stuff like that. And of course, sumo guys kicking everyone's ass because they're trained specifically for that. But what got you?
So there's one guy that was a viewer years ago, and he was asking me on Patreon, and he was like, I really want to start a channel about sumo wrestling and stuff, and it just, I don't know, I don't think it would do well, or he's just kind of skeptical or whatever. And I was like, yo, you just gotta do it. And that's such a niche category, he'd probably do well. And now he's one of the biggest Twitch sumo people. He has Midnight Sumo, and he's getting 4,000 or 5,000 viewers streaming sumo wrestling and commentating.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah, that. I mean, that's really what it is. Finding the thing you love that no one else is doing it and do it. And you will find an audience every time. That's amazing. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. And so he's doing that. So I was watching him. And so he's just kind of rebroadcasting the sumo wrestling. This shit's wild. I didn't realize how much goes into it. It's
it's more than just fat dudes slamming into each other.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing to it.
Yeah. And it's just the rituals of starting up, where it's they cleanse the arena, they drink from this little wooden spoon, and then they throw rice all over, and then they stomp out the demons, and then it's they do this entire thing, and then they're all right, now we can fight.
I love that Stomp Out the Demons is roughly how I played the game Dead Space. And frankly, I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
You got to stomp those bastards out.
You go stomp them out. And so did that. I was watching that. Plus, it was also kind of crazy where I already thought it was crazy when you watch something like basketball and they're sitting courtside and the players fall into you. But like there's times in sumo wrestling, they'll like fall off the little platform in the middle and they'll just like crash into people. And I'm like, that's gotta like kill somebody, right? At some point.
I feel like you would have time to get out. Like, how close are they to the ring? Not that close.
They're like pretty close. Like they got time to move, but they're if you don't pay attention, you're getting squashed.
I mean, that's most sports, to be honest. I went and saw the Dodgers, and there were balls hit all over the place. And if you weren't paying attention, you get hit in the face with a ball. You know what I mean?
That's true. It's just when it's a 700-pound muscular man, I feel like it's a little more intense. But they do try to like stop themselves, I see. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes you're just shoved and you're flying.
Honestly, that's the price you pay to go watch that.
Yeah.
That'd be like watching two gorillas battle, and it's like, you know, someone's gonna get hurt, but we want to see this fight. So,
yeah, it's you should always be paying attention. I'd be want to sit. I'd sit a few rows back. Is all I'm saying. But there's.
I mean, I kind of want to like get up in the front, and you know, like when you see a live show, like who knows what's gonna happen? You get sprayed with water. It'd be great.
Yeah, but that's you.
It's true. You're right.
That's the difference. There's like. The one thing that made me think of that is the guy fell into the audience, and I could have sworn there was this old woman that looked like she got crushed because it looked like her face was like, oh,
right. But also, that's a story she can tell. She can go back, tell her grandkids.
That's true, as long as she's alive.
Yeah, Nana had a run-in with the sumo wrestler, and they're like, "Did you win?" She's like, "I did." I don't know why she sounds like that. I'm probably a little old Japanese lady, but whatever.
Yeah, as long as she makes it past. As long as she makes it past 4 a.m., she's good.
Right. But I don't know why I know that. And I'm not even sure if that's a real fact. I just know that I heard that somewhere. And then I just said it on this podcast, so it's real. If it's said on a podcast, it's real.
Yeah. So yeah, I was watching that. That was fun. So I'd watch that and then go to sleep. Also, the audience was always fun, too, just watching the people in the audience. There's this one group of women who, like, you know how if you go to a sports games, like if you're at a Dodgers game, people have their favorite player and they got jerseys on, they got signs like, go whoever. They had that, but it was like for sumo wrestling. It'd be like a group of like 3 women and they'd have like his face on a thing and then like his name and they're just like, ah! And I was like, I don't know. Like it makes sense, but for some reason I just thought it was like funnier. I don't know. Maybe because
it's sumo. That's like
it's sumo or something. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it would be the equivalent of a bunch of like ladies showing up to cheer on a guy at like a weightlifting contest or something.
Yeah, like it gave me vibes of like Olympic curling or something, where it's like, yeah, go curling, or like I get it. In fact, I think it's better probably than normal sports, but it's fun because it's different. And then my favorite, there's this woman who I swear to God, her husband was in the Yakuza. He was just like decked out. He had like the stone cold face on. He had like his arms crossed, but his sleeves were rolled up. Like he looked
of course.
He looked like he beat somebody up before numerous times or ordered it. You know, like that type of guy. And then she was just sitting there and she had like this little doll. There was like a little rabbit doll or something. I don't know what it was. I was trying to figure out what it was. And she would just keep like, whenever something happened, she'd be like, woo, and like shake it and like point it. And I was like, is that like one of the wrestlers' favorite animals, or like does he like like I don't know. And I was just trying to figure that out. Maybe somebody knows, but it was fun just watching.
I'm sure there's deep lore. I'm sure there's like tons of deep lore that it's almost professional wrestling level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's overall very fun. It was fun watching that. So I'd watch that and then fall asleep.
What? I love that.
Yeah. I also did swap my ASMR.
Uh-oh. To what?
I swapped it to 8 hours of rain sound. The Calm app
Gotcha.
has a YouTube video.
Yeah.
It's just 8 hours of rain sound. And so, like I mentioned before on this show, my ASMR would always run out, and then it would give me anxiety. So I'm like, oh God, the ASMR ran out. Right? Because you would hear her being like, comment, subscribe.
Oh, yeah, and then you're done. Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm not asleep yet. But now, 8 hours of rain, I don't know what time it is. I don't know where I am. If I wake up, I'm like, still raining. Like, just keep going. Sometimes I'll wake up and just take it out, but otherwise I'm just lost in the rain. That's been working.
I love that. Yeah, hold on. I wonder if we're listening to the same thing. I'm trying to. Last night I listened to Perfect Rain Sound to relieve insomnia from a healing comma. I wonder if that's supposed to be coma, but it definitely says comma. And then yeah, the healing coma. And then the night before that, I had Heavy Rain. Rainy night for sleep. 8 hours, dude. Solid 8 hours. My real favorite ones lately are ones where it's like solo camping and heavy rain. And it's just like some guy, except I did discover a genre, and I ask everyone to look this up. Take the time. When you have time. Don't do this if you're in a car.
Yeah.
Look up camping, rain, I don't know, like sounds or whatever. I keep seeing the top one be what is just a very attractive Asian woman. And it's her kind of like seductively leaning over in the thumbnail. But I'm just like, do you have to clickbait rain sounds? Is that where we're at now? I guess it's like this Chinese woman who goes camping and then just, does all the things. She like eats and stuff. But that's not what I want. I just wanted some guy in the woods camping. She does a whole production where she'll like eat and go, And I'm like, no one. All right, I don't want to say no one wants this. Clearly people want this. She's very popular. But I don't want that. I'm trying to go to bed. I don't need like, rain. Like, I don't want that.
No, there's straight up numerous channels of that.
Of crazy. I just don't get it.
Yeah, like if you type in camping ASMR, it is all like attractive Asian women camping in the rain.
I just don't. I never understood it. I never will.
Millions of views.
Yeah, I like get it. I understand men be horny. I get that, but also, I got work in the morning. I got stuff to do. I got to be up. So please give me just. Most of the ones that I like are the ones where it's like the dude looks like he's never slept in a house ever, and he's out in the woods,
right.
And he's like 8 days of sleeping in the woods, and he doesn't say a word. The most sound might be him chopping wood, but it's like edited so the sound isn't that loud, and it's just like the rain, and it's him like it puts me out. It puts me out.
I'm like glad there's like so many of these channels. Granted, it makes sense because if it's getting millions of views, everyone else can start doing it.
Yeah, I just feel like we should advertise things what they are. Instead of like ASMR to help you sleep, it's like, you're a little horny, but you don't want to be a creep, and all you have is YouTube right now. Like that's what we should call it.
Yeah, but then you would have to feel bad about what you're doing.
No, we already feel bad enough. When I click on a video where it's like, I'm gonna do mouth sounds, ain't nobody there because you're like great at mouth sounds.
There might be. Don't assume.
You're right. What a fool I am. I am.
I think you're just you're projecting to some degree still.
Completely. Oh yeah. No, this is full projection. Yeah.
Yeah. I did see there's that one YouTube camping guy that's retiring. You see that?
I did see that. I think it was because people were harassing him and his family or something.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That is
he's just
weird.
like, I just want him to live a normal life. Like,
with that said, though, I have a feeling it's because he made bank.
Oh yeah, it's like 20 million views every video.
I'm about to say, no one who's broke is going to be like, you know what? I'm going to give this all up and live a normal life.
Yeah. No, that's
I don't think that's what's happening.
Every time I see people like that, I mentioned it before. There's like people go, like, we got to take a break. It's just stressful. They're always like getting millions of views, and I'm like, well, yeah, I could do that too. Like what? Like imagine if you at your normal job as well. We're just like, you know what? It's getting a little too much. I think I'm gonna take a 2-week break. Maybe even a couple months. And it's like you can only do that if you're rich. Or you have like
the vast majority of people just simply cannot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they know they can come back and just be like, "Hey, everybody!" And then it's just like sub, watch video, blah, and then they just make more money.
That hilariously was this morning when I was eating breakfast. I was having this conversation about the idea of what would I do if I didn't have to work.
Mm-hmm.
And the best I could come up with, because I would probably, here's how it started. Some actor, I don't know who, was saying they read 2 books a day.
Right.
And all the comments were like, how's that even possible? How can you do that? And when you have nothing else to do, it's very possible.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you don't have to, like if you're, I made millions on one movie and now I'm on a break. Like, yeah, you can do that. And I think people just didn't register that if you have money, you can kind of do whatever the hell you want. And so the conversation was, okay, so I have money. What would I do if I didn't have to work? And I was like, yeah, I probably could read 2 books a day. But in reality, I know exactly what I would be. You know, and I think you know this especially. You know when you go to brunch, and it might be like a Tuesday, but there's a group of 5, 6, 8 old ladies.
Yeah.
And they're all like gossiping, and maybe they came from pickleball or they're going to go do something together, like go for a walk. I'd be in that group. Me right now, myself, I'd join them. I'd be like, I got nothing better to do. I'm going to go hang out with the old ladies. And I'd become like, they'd be like, so what are the kids into? Like, I honestly don't know, but I'd make stuff up for them. I'm like, oh yeah, they're shooting turpentine in their eyeballs now. It's crazy. I go around and tell all the friends like,
he knows what's up.
That's what I would do. That's the best I could hope for, because otherwise I'd be so bored.
That's honestly when I was thinking of what I would do, because people brought up on stream, like, what would you do if you had to retire or whatever? And I was like, I would literally do what I'm already doing.
Sure.
I would just, because I would sit around and I'd be like, man, what do I do now? And I'd be like, well, I guess I'll read a bit, which I do. But I'm not going to read 2 books a day. I read like a chapter a day. I'm like, all right, that's pretty good. And I'm like, all right, what now? I guess I'll go to the gym. All right. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to make a video. Maybe about like a top 10 list of some random World of Warcraft thing. Probably do that. Maybe a GeoGuessr or something in World of Warcraft. It'd be fun. Be like, hey, you know what? Kind of want to stream Pokemon. So I'll do that. I'll just do what I'm already doing. Now,
I think that's because you enjoy and have fun with what you're doing. Like, what you do on a daily basis is stuff you love, not stuff you feel compelled to do. And I think that's a huge difference in a lot of people's, you know, the vast majority of people who live in this world are like, yo, I got to do this. In the room over there right now, there are 3 people editing videos I'm sure they don't want to have to edit. Like, that, you know, that's what work is.
I know I wouldn't want to edit your videos, that's for sure.
Look, I don't even want to edit them.
Yeah.
I made them, and I'm like, no, I can't even be
That's
asked.
true. I guess the difference would be I wouldn't be as focused about money, right? Because you're retired, you don't have to worry about money or anything. Because like now it's like
in theory,
right?
Yeah.
Because right now you have to be like, all right, how are we doing on the Twitch earnings? How's YouTube looking? All right, maybe we got to change something up. Maybe I have to make a specific video. Maybe I have to stream a certain thing. Maybe we need to get sponsors. Like, I got to check sponsors. Like, you're always like thinking of like, how's everything doing? Are all the legs of the table being held up? Is one breaking? Is the table going to fall over? Like, it's that type of thing more than anything.
Sure. Yeah, so. I'd like to imagine that my peak version of Jesse not giving an F when it comes to YouTube stuff would completely be, there's a guy, I'm not going to call him out because the last time we called out a guy on YouTube, everyone went to his channel and he shut his channel down. So I'm not ever doing that again, ever.
Yep.
Shout out to Whipped Cream Guy. I love you wherever you're at right now. But there's a guy who Alex showed him to me, and I must stress, one of the craziest yet completely pure things I've ever witnessed. So it's like a dude, imagine like, I don't know, overweight Midwestern guy. I'm sure you can imagine that.
Yep.
And
I see him all the time.
Yeah, he's in a house, and it looks like his grandmother's house. And I say this because everything seems to be from 1984. There are pictures of just, I'm going to say 35-year-old Jesus portraits around, like just, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
The kitchen looks very old. It's what you imagine every Midwestern grandmother's house looks like.
Right.
And it's him doing a cooking video. And he's like, today I'm going to make my favorite thing in the world, it's a I think you said it was like a Mexican pizza. He's like, got to take this naan bread, and then you put the naan bread in, down, and then you're gonna put some refried beans on there. And he literally takes a can of refried bean and just like dumps them on there, and then smooths it out. He's like, oh yeah, that's gonna be good. Okay, and then I got some hot dogs. He starts cutting up pieces of hot dogs. He starts putting it on it. And then he's like, and then I got these, this cheese sauce. It's like Velveeta spread or something.
Yeah, right.
And he starts oozing it on this thing. It is so gross looking, but he's so excited. And then he's like, all right, then you put it in the oven. And he puts it in the oven, and it comes out, and it's just a goopy, oozy mess. You know, it's got refried beans plus it's basically if you opened a bean and cheese burrito from Taco Bell,
right,
and then just ate it open face. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. No, that sounds terrible.
And he cuts it with the pizza cutter, and he takes a bite. And he's like, "Oh God, you're so good." He has tons of videos like this. He has one video where he makes some sort of pasta dish, and it looks like what I would have considered food in college. You know what I mean? Like, he puts so much random shit in it, but he's like, it's also good. All of his videos are this. Every single one is just him completely in his element, just cooking food. Each video has like 22 views, and he still makes them. He's making them right now. And that is where I want to live. Like, I respect the hell out of that guy. I think it's crazy what he's doing, but that's where I want to be. I want to be at that crazy where I just don't have to care anymore. Like, right now I care because I got responsibilities. Right. But if I didn't have responsibilities, that's the kind of content I'd make. I'd be like, okay, so today we're going to make a grilled cheese sandwich. And that'd be it. I just make a grilled cheese. And then I'd upload it. The end.
That was kind of what I did like 12 years ago, to be honest.
And here you are.
And here I am. Look at that. Propelled me forward.
Yeah, I have a video stuck in my head of you and me in an elevator, and you literally just throw a water ball at me, and that's the video.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was it.
There's actually a few water bottles, few water bottle videos. It's almost like a trilogy of water bottles.
It was almost like a trilogy.
Oh yeah, I think you had a surfboard or some like Witcher board or something like that.
Yes, the Witcher wake or whatever that is, the longboard. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Actually, there's a WoW person that watched my videos. He's like a streamer, YouTuber, PvP guy named Zaryu, and I was watching him during the what do you call it, the soda pop and hardcore challenge or whatever. But
well, of course,
he reacted to a pointless top 10, and it was funny because when he was watching it, I mentioned in the video, I'm like, so I found this thing, and he's like, wait, he found this thing? Does he just like fly around and look for stuff? And everyone in the chat was like, yep. And I was like, dude, he's finding it. Yeah. that's part of the fun, is just going around and finding stuff. It's like you're finding hidden gems that have been lost to the ancient times, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was fun seeing him react to that, and then he was just like, dude, I gotta watch more of these. And I was like, yes.
That's awesome. Yeah,
let's go.
It's always nice when people out of the blue watch your stuff and are like, I'll do a react video. I know it sounds crazy because it's also kind of content sniping, but also on an egotistical level, I do like it a lot. I do enjoy when people watch my stuff.
It's one thing if they do it and don't like shout you out or give you links or whatever, but like when they link your channel and they're like, hey, it's cool, I'll subscribe, whatever, then it's just like it's free publicity. It's like somebody went to a restaurant and they're like, this is great food, I'd come back here. Like, it's that type of thing.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of which, rewind. Okay.
Yes.
You mentioned reading. So as you know, I've been working on my book for many years. Many years.
Oh yes, no, I am aware. I thought you just weren't doing it anymore.
No, so I've pivoted numerous times. So after finishing Brandon Sanderson's writing lecture thing, I took the advice of doing like the one-off book. You know what I mean? Instead of working on a trilogy or something crazy, he was like, just write a one-off book and do what you want to do. So he was like, that's my best advice for like your first book, right? Because you just kind of pick the tropes you like, pick all these different things and run with it. So I've been working for, at this point, like months, like world building, plotting, everything, writing a bit. I've written 2,000 words. So I have
Damn.
done stuff of a book about magical fishing. All right.
What? What?
That's right.
What does that mean?
I'm still figuring out the details. There's a lot that goes into it. I've actually written, I've got like documents, I've got pages on my phone. I've got so much stuff about just like the world, the characters, just everything. It's just, but the base of it all is magical fishing.
Okay, I guess I would have to ask for specifics, but I'm not sure you want to give them. Because when you say magical fishing, I don't know whether you mean people are using magic to fish, in which case,
Yes.
what is everyone else doing with the magic? Or the fish are magical?
Yes, both.
So what is happening in the world with So people only use magic to fish?
No, you can normally fish, but there's also magical fish. And you can only catch these magical fish at certain places, and only certain people have the power to magically fish. The same way that you would have to have a powerful wizard to cast powerful spells, you need a powerful fish wizard to catch powerful fish.
Now,
And those fish
is this a
grant
world
you-
with wizards in general?
Yes. So you got wizards, you got druids, you got necromancers, you got everything, and they all
Oh, everything's there.
yeah, and you can learn how to fish properly and catch these magical fish. The thing is,
Uh-oh.
okay, so you have like the benefits of the magical fish, but you also have the negative side effects of the fish. So people will just be like, I need my magical fish powers because it can like boost your ability. So this is kind of like if you remember years ago, I talked about doing my book, which was like a magical lake, and I was like, you could use this lake water and it gives you powers and stuff like that. And then I was like, I can just do this with fish. So I swapped it up. And so what I learned from Brandon Sanderson's course was he was like, the most fun magic systems have great limitations. Because he's like, nobody really remembers, like, oh, he just pulled out this Deus Ex Machina spell, and he's like, everyone is safe now, or like, right? But it's like the limitations of it's like, it's like the ring. It's like, I can put the ring on, but then Sauron knows where I am, and like, they know it, like everything, and I feel the power of so it's like you have to use it sparingly. So it's like maybe you can use a fish to gain some sort of power, but maybe you like get really tired and pass out. Maybe your arm like burns for days. Like maybe like there's numerous different things you can do, but that's kind of the angle I'm going with it.
That's fun. So what? Let me ask you a question. What do the magic fish get you in this universe?
Well, I'm still figuring everything out. So
Understood.
In fact, I'm still figuring out like the in-depth lore behind it. Like, why are they here? So, it could be like gods did it. It could be they were just always there. Like, there's numerous ways I can go with it, but I'm still trying to plan all that.
Sure. Yeah. No, my favorite version, even though this sounds weird, my favorite version of magical fish, air quotes, is in Dishonored. The way that world works is the game kind of takes place in what would be like steampunky England, even though, it's not really, but it's this island off the coast of a main continent. But the main continent is this weird place no one goes to. So for the most part, people stick to the island and they fish, and most of their stuff is powered by oil from whales. But the whales, as you read through documents and stuff, there's something going on with them, and there's definitely like some potential old god stuff. And the whales, they are magical in a way, and so the whale bones do things. And it's this crazy world where they're, the whales power their life, but at the same time are these beautiful, majestic, magic creatures that they need to kill in order to live. But by killing them, they are potentially angering some sort of, deity. And I was like, yeah, this is cool as hell. And then that went nowhere because they ended the game after the second one because I guess they didn't want to make them. Yeah, they had this huge franchise. They had all this lore. And then the second game, they literally just stopped. I don't know what they were thinking. They created this thing called the Outsider, which was like this big overarching deity. And I'll just let you know that the second game, they're like, we're making a DLC called The Death of the Outsider. That's it, done. I was like, what? Never been so disappointed. Big disappointment. but I do love the first game and would highly recommend it.
All right.
It's very
that
cool.
does sound
It's one of
cool.
those games that lets you do whatever the hell you want. So
Oh, yeah.
it's good vibes. Yeah.
I actually thought of that idea as well. It's like a cool thing. 'Cause I like, I don't know if you've seen Princess Mononoke, the
I have.
Spirited Away.
Yes. Yeah.
I like the theme behind that of just like it's like man versus nature and like trying to corrupt. So I was like, that could kind of be a theme of like the people are trying to mass catch these fish or like hire these wizards to like force them to fish, or just being like, we need to catch as many as we can and get powerful, and then the actual like water and nature starts fighting back in some way. Like maybe they got crazy creatures that start attacking, or like, you know, there's a bunch of ways you can go with it. But I kind of like that aspect of like man versus nature.
Yeah, I think the best way to do a story like that is to start with a cataclysm or some type of you know, the nature reacting and people being like, we don't even understand why that's happening, and then reveal slowly through the book that like, oh no, the people are doing this, they're just dumb.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing's always fun, where it's like thousands died when the waves washed up upon the shore, and then it's like, no, but like we did that, whoops.
Yeah. A lot of times that's like
fun.
Prologues do. But apparently now people don't like prologues, which like I get. I think if prologues are really badly done, then, well, I guess if anything's badly done, it's not very good. But I think prologues especially, a lot of people just skip them.
But sometimes they've got really great, like I keep thinking back to, what was it? The second Jurassic Park book, Lost World, where the opening is on a beach and a bunch of those compies like eat a little kid. And I was like, holy crap, that is a hell of a way to start a book. I keep thinking about that. Like sometimes it's done really, really well.
Yeah. So yeah, I think if it sets up the theme of your book, then it's actually really cool. Because then you kind of know what to expect. Because then you can kind of play around with more boring things where you're just like, here's a character doing this, like maybe they're just fishing or whatever, but then you know like shit's gonna get crazy because I read about it at the start of the book and I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm always a big fan of like huge set piece, insane intro thing, cut to my name's John Johnson. I'm a fisher, and it's like him, and it's very, you know, Hobbit-esque, and you can imagine the music in the background, and it's like a totally different on the other side of the world vibe.
Yeah,
I love those.
because that's that was one of Brandon Sanderson's things too. Where he's like, the prologue is supposed to be like a promise. Where he's like in Star Wars, that the movie opens up and you see like the big battle on the ship. Darth Vader's walking through the halls and he's like, "Where are they?" And then it like cuts to Luke being like, "I'm a farmer, and here I am." He's like, right, they're promising you like, "Hey guys, there's gonna be some crazy like star battle shit and whatever, but like just hold on for a while. We'll get to that."
Yep. I love that kind of stuff. I think that is absolutely the way to do it. You know, you need that hook, and I love a good hook. So
yeah. So that's been a lot of fun. I've literally just been working on that for, at this point, like months, just planning out stuff, retooling
That's
stuff.
awesome.
I've also been reading.
Eventually you're going to have to go. Like, eventually you have to pull the trigger on this thing.
Well, I mean, I've been writing still. Like I said, I've written 2,000 words. So, you know,
Ooh.
somebody will be like, 2,000 words, I write that in a day. Like, that's cool. But I don't care. It's more just making actual progress.
Yeah, you're doing it for fun right now instead of this is my job.
Yeah, exactly. So, because that's one of my big goals is I'm like, I just want to write a book. And my goal isn't to have that book be the greatest book ever. I just want it to be a book where people read it and enjoy it and go, wow, I can't believe Crendor wrote this. That's the main comment I want, is I can't believe
I want
Crendor
that
wrote
book to
this.
come out so I can say, wow, yeah, no, Crendor definitely wrote this.
Yeah. So we'll see. I've also been reading, which helps, obviously. I was reading Mistborn. I don't know if you read that. That's the Brandon Sanderson one.
I have the first book on my Audible. I have not. I was going to listen to it when I went overseas, and as I mentioned on a previous episode, got distracted by all the movies I've never seen in theaters and was like, I'll watch these instead.
Yeah.
But it is on, the very first book is on my phone right now to listen to.
Yeah. It's I'm like a third of the way through that. It's pretty good. It's one of those things where I'm reading it and then I kind of go back and analyze the writing and the writing style now that I'm like doing that. And then I also started reading Game of Thrones again.
Oh, good God. I love those books to death, but I don't know how that translates to you, because that man, George R. R. Martin's like 18 pages of describing a feast.
Oh yeah, no, it's not my writing at all. My writing is more probably like far more basic, but I kind of like reading it just to see the comparison. You know what I mean? It's almost like a study type thing. So I only read like a couple pages of Game of Thrones, but it's nice seeing the writing style and kind of learning from it. Because, it's very much like, it's like reading a history book half the time of like, here's a name of like Sir Eddard Stark, son of blah, 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 heir of the throne and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, there's like 20 names. And then it's the description of like an entire paragraph describing a patch of grass. Like, I mean, all right.
I think those books are very, very, very good. Better than the show. I will stand on that.
100%.
But I think everyone agrees after a while the show fell apart. But like the biggest issue is there's so much to follow. Like the big difference between the show and the books is there's like 15 additional characters not even in the show. And then there's all these different houses and different... I don't know how much I'll remember when this man finally releases the next book. It's been so long. I'm ready for it. Yeah, I'm ready for it. I know what's happening in the story, but I also am just... I know I'm going to be like, hold up. Let me go to the wiki. What?
It's... I was actually reading somebody's theory on why he hasn't written it yet. And they said, number one was he's a perfectionist. So, like, if he doesn't think it's good enough, like, he's not going to do it. They're like, he's to the point where he revises his own writing so much that he doesn't even need a rough draft because his draft is just, like, constantly being revised. So it's like, okay. And now he's gotten to the point where there's so many characters that he has to make sure they're all, like, intertwined correctly and, like, nothing's out of place or nothing feels wrong. And then he has the added pressure of the show doing terribly at the end. So people are like...
Yeah, he has to nail it.
Yeah, so like he really has to get it right. So you have that on top of everything else. So he's just probably constantly rethinking stuff and rewriting. And then on top of that, he's just busy with all the other shit he's doing.
And for the most part, from what I understand, the way the show ended is the rough outline of how he wanted to end it, and people did not like the ending. So I wonder if he's like, oh, back to the drawing board I go. So I don't know. I just don't know what's going on over there. I also, to be honest, kind of have a feeling of maybe he doesn't want any of the criticism, so he's working on them, and then he's just like, when I die, release them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
He's like, I won't have to see people complain and hate my stuff if I'm dead. Like, I honestly don't know. I have no idea what his thoughts are. He could just be caught up in... I mean, the man's now working... He helped with the lore of Elden Ring, and now they're making an Elden Ring movie, and I guarantee he's attached.
Yeah. Plus, it's kind of like what we mentioned earlier. He's to the point where he has enough money that he doesn't have to care.
Yeah,
right?
I care, because you can't tell me a multi-book story and then not have an ending.
Yeah.
Literally, for people who are curious where the books left off, remember in the show where a certain main character just dies?
Yeah.
That's where we left off. That's like before the show went downhill, we're at that point. Yeah. So, and if you're wondering why the show went downhill, because they had to make it up as they went along with the rest of it. We're at the point, like, the man is the greatest cliffhanger in forever, and we're just like, brother, what are you doing? Give us answers. It's rough.
Well, I think,
it's rough, man.
He probably also has some bitterness towards the show and the way they handled it.
Oh, he definitely does, especially House of the Dragon. He is not... Admittedly, I'm with him. Season 1 House of the Dragon, I actually really, really liked. Season 2, nothing happened. It was 8, 9, 10 episodes of people just being like, something's going to happen, and then nothing happened. And then the season finale, the last 5 minutes was people marching off to battle, and I was like, how dare they? Nothing occurred. It was crazy.
Yeah, I haven't read a thing. He said he was like bashing the way they handled numerous characters, or he was like, Littlefinger wouldn't have given Sansa up like that. Like, he's just directly being like, yeah, I don't know what the shit they were thinking.
Well, I mean, as someone who has done shows, once writers have it out of the creator's hands, they can kind of do whatever they want. Yeah. And the creators can approve or disapprove, but if the majority of producers agree, then that's what it's going to be. And so I can't tell you the amount of times I fought for things and was overruled and was like, all right, I don't like this, but okay. And it just happened. Like, that's just how it works. It sucks, but that's it.
Yeah. I think that was Brandon Sanderson said that was one of the reasons he hasn't done any shows for any of his books and stuff. Because he's like, I always tell him, like, I want full control. And they're like, no.
Yeah, and they never will, because it's all when you go to a production company, you go to someone and they're like, hey, we'll give you $6 million to make this. They're going to want full control. It's just what it is, because it's their money. And I get it. If I'm putting money into a thing, I want control over it too. And that's the problem, is a lot of the times you just never get that.
Yeah. So there's definitely some bitterness from George R. R. Martin there, being like, they messed up my show. So, and maybe he's gotten over it now, but I feel like when it happened, he probably didn't work on the book as much, because he was just like, they ruined my project, or his child, essentially, he'd been working on. So
with that said, he could have completed one of those books by the time they got to that point in the show. So they could have, like, it is a little bit on him too. Man did not do anything.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely on him too. Plus, it's like,
I think plenty of time.
I think he's perfectionist, and so he probably could have released something by now, but he just hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear that when he went to go make a book and then he had it split into 2 books, it's like, okay, this guy is operating on a whole other level of insanity. Like, okay.
Yeah. Well, he talks like an insane, like, gnome engineer from WoW.
He really is a gnome.
Like,
yeah.
I like to craft my books. Like, that's how he talks.
Yeah.
Which doesn't surprise me. But speaking of that, you see Nick Cage as John Madden?
Dude, not only did I see that, I messaged you like, we have to watch this movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's incredible.
The most insane movie he may be a part of.
Yeah, it's just Nick Cage and Christian Bale together in what will be an incredibly ridiculous movie. Like, I know they're going to play it seriously, which makes it even better.
Yeah, it is genuinely insane.
I need to hear Nick Cage's John Madden voice. I need to see him do like a play call. I need this.
Of like all the people to get to play John Madden, it's just like I can't believe they picked Nick Cage, but it's perfect.
Perfect. Yeah. I would be very excited if at some point in this movie they did like a bit where he signs his name over to the Madden NFL game series.
Yeah.
And we just get to see Nick Cage do that. I kind of want. There's so many things I just want to see Nick Cage do.
Yeah. No, that would be fantastic. Just one Madden edition with Nick Cage on it. You open the game, he's just like, EA Sports, it's in the game.
If they had the audacity, if EA had the cojones to do this, they should do a free DLC of Nick Cage Madden. That'd be incredible.
That would be incredible.
Hey there, players. It's me, Nick Cage. I mean, John Madden.
No, he could be Nick Cage in the game as John Madden.
Yeah, right.
Nick Cage as John Madden.
Look at that. Look at how they toss the ball.
Boom. Right up the middle.
Oh, I could toss a ball for hours.
It's got to happen.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, because you said, I don't even know where you said it. I think it might have been my stream. You said there's a story that you have to tell me.
I do, and I'm not sure if we should save it to be our news story or not, because it's that good. It is.
All right, we can save it for the news
best
story.
thing. It's not news, but it feels like news.
All right, yeah, we'll save it for the news story then.
It's pretty amazing.
I couldn't find any good news stories anyway.
Great.
But you know what? We're not saving for the end.
Make this spring your best, because summer's around the corner, and I know you want to look good out there during summer, where the clothes comes off and the sun hits your skin. Well, you want that skin, and you want what's underneath those clothes coming off to look its best, right? Well, Factor's here to help with 2-minute easy to heat and eat meals. Oh, it's going to change the game for you. Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. You know, Factor meals arrive fresh, ready to eat, perfect for your active lifestyle. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick anything from Calorie Smart to Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfast as well. Lunches, dinners, snacks, desserts, juices, all sorts of amazing stuff. One of my favorites that they have, it's so simple. It's just smoked Gouda and bacon shredded chicken hash. It has green beans. It's just like, it's not complicated. It's super simple. And if you want to be like a little fat boy like me, get some tortilla chips, dip them in there. You can have a whole little dip thing. It's great. Or you can get I'm a big fan of salmon, and so a ginger teriyaki salmon with roasted cabbage and rice and sesame green beans, and that's just a little taste of what they have. And more importantly, you can get side things like sausages and chicken wings and little tiny desserts and stuff. I just love them so much, and a lot of you at home do as well. Thank you to everyone who reaches out and is like, yo, I started doing Factor, man, down 45 pounds. Like, hell yeah, keep it up. Get started right now at factormeals.com/Cox50OFF. That's Cox50 off, and use code Cox50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code COX50OFF at factormeals.com/Cox50 off. Speaking off, this summer you got to take 50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. Again, that's Cox50 off at factormeals.com/Cox50 off. All right, Crendor, let's go to Choppers Conversation. Go, whoa, with Crendor. How's that traffic out there?
Whoa, wowee. We are woeing up in the wowee indeed. Currently, looks like it's looking pretty good down there. It's actually kind of rainy and cold here. Perfect for the middle of May. I believe it's like 18 degrees below average right now, so that's kind of dumb. At least here. I don't know where it is. I know other places got like tornadoes and shit, so that's pretty crazy. So watch out for those. Back to you.
Thanks, Crendor. Now let's go over to Crendor at the weather desk. How's that weather?
Weather. We've got a weather request for the Greek island. I almost said the Geek Islands.
The Geek Islands.
Geek Islands of Kea, Kea. The island is quite popular location for scuba divers. One notable dive site is the wreck of HMHS Britannic, sister ship to the Titanic. Britannic was serving as a hospital ship during the First World War, and when she struck a German mine on November 21st, 1916, she sank about 4 miles northwest of Kea and was the largest ship in the entire war. Or lost in the entire war.
There is a conspiracy theory. I can't remember what it is. There's a conspiracy theory about the Titanic and the Britannic being this, like, switched or something. Dude, I don't know. I can't remember what it is, but look it up on the internet. It is, well, you would imagine most conspiracy theories are like. Absolutely bonkers, but I love it.
Perfect for Mathis.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Kea, South Aegean, Greece?
Aegean? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, Aegean.
Yeah, the Aegean Sea.
Yeah, the South Aegean Sea. It sounds like a Game of Thrones name. The Aegean Empire.
Oh, wow. It is kind of right off the coast of Athens almost.
Yeah. It is 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Feels like 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity 59%, pressure at 30 inches, visibility 9 miles, winds at 7 miles an hour, dew point 51. UV index is a 0 because it's currently nighttime there, and you got the waning crescent moon looking over you. 6:08 a.m. sunrise, 8:30 p.m. sunset, and the 10-day. Thursday, we got mostly sunny, 70 degrees. Friday, 69, nice, partly cloudy. Saturday, 72, mostly sunny. Sunday, yeah, mostly cloudy skies with a 70 degrees. Monday, you got 66 and sunny. Tuesday, 67 and sunny. And Wednesday, 69, mostly sunny. Nice.
I'm like mesmerized by this place. It is both completely in the middle of nowhere.
Mm.
Everything here seems kind of like you're in a national park vibe. But at the same time, you go to one of these in the middle of nowhere kind of housing developments, and it's gorgeous houses. Like very modern looking, beautiful homes. But it's also just, there's one I found called Greek Odyssey Homes. And the wall around it is straight up just like an old stone wall that looks like it's probably, 100, 200 years old. But then behind it, using those same stones are houses that I'm like, that looks like a very modern home. And then there's nothing else around. There's like 4 or 5 of these houses and then nothing else for miles. I'm just like looking. And
Like
I don't know how things operate.
Maybe somebody just wanted a modern house there. They just
Maybe.
built their own.
Yeah,
Maybe
and then there's some, like every restaurant I click on looks absolutely gorgeous. The views, the way they're designed, just gorgeous. But then you click on the food, and it looks like any Greek restaurant you would ever go to.
Yeah, which I mean, I guess it checks out.
Yeah, but I get it, but it just looks like, I guess you're paying mostly for the view.
They are some very nice views. I mean, there's a lot of places where you're paying for the view.
Yeah, but I mean, like food-wise, I'm trying to find something wacky and crazy, but everything just kind of seems like a 4.4 on here. They're all good, but yeah, it's a lot of you're eating falafel. You're eating, you're eating some meats and hummus and the whole thing. Like, that's it. Like tahini.
You got the burger with fries or a wrap.
Yeah, most of the time you're eating some sort of wrap with fries.
A lot of kebab stuff.
But it's every restaurant I'm looking at seems roughly the same.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like you just pick which view you're looking for. Because everybody serves the same food. You're just like, where do we want to eat today? What view do you want? Okay, let's go to that one.
Yeah, I found a chop house, and it's just a chop house, and if you want meat plus fries, that's what you're getting. But the view is outstanding. I mean, I guess it's keeping it simple. I'm just amazed by this entire area. I just don't quite understand how it operates. It's just all mountainous. And then ever so often, Greek restaurant. Which, again, makes sense. But I think this is the first time like, Greek food, Mediterranean food is so influential that when you think about going to places, right?
Mm.
The idea that when you think about if we were to go look at different places from around the world, it's not often that we see, we're looking at Greece, and all the food we're seeing is Greek food. You know what I mean?
Right.
Usually it'd be like, yeah, we're going to look at this place. There's the McDonald's. There's the Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's true.
There's the pizza place. There's the steakhouse. There's the sushi. There's the Chinese, right? It's Greece, and it's all Greek. And I think it's very fascinating, but on point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah. Now I'm looking around trying to see if I can find the McDonald's.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find anything that isn't Greek. You know what I mean? That is like, it's a steakhouse, but nope, that's a Greek steakhouse.
Yeah, no, I'm struggling to find anything. There's got to be something.
There's a barbecue place. It says it's Philippa's Barbecue, and I'm like, okay, barbecue. Let's go. The plates look the exact same as every other restaurant we've looked at. The exact same.
Yeah, there's Mayor Marcy. It's like a food store.
There's coffee places, but the coffee places are still... They're selling things that look very similar to the other places as well.
Yeah. Maybe if we go like inland, maybe up. I guess it's only on the coast.
I think this island is. It's almost quintessential for what you would expect out of Greece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure if we went to Athens, we would see the McDonald's of Athens, and it would be a little more. But this is an island in, the Greek islands, and they just were like, we are what we are, and we know what we are, and when people come here, they come here for vacation in Greece, and so we're going to give them Greek food.
I think you're right, because it is...
There's nothing that I can see here. And honestly, I get it. I'm kind of here for it. I imagine if we went to, the middle of nowhere in China, it would all be Chinese food instead of, that kind of whatever else they have. Or if you went to India, there would be Indian food if you ended up, in some province way in the middle of nowhere.
For a brief second, I thought you were going to say Indiana.
If you went to Indiana, there was a lot of Indian food.
Yeah. And that's the weather.
All right, let's go to sports.
Sports. Oh boy, here we are at the sports desk. Beep-a-doo-doo-doo-doo. NBA playoffs, we've got the final four teams there. We got the Thunder up 1 game on the Timberwolves. And then we've got, speaking of which, Indiana. The Indiana Pacers playing the Knicks. And that game starts tonight. So that's actually a good rivalry. That's like a 90s rivalry. Pacers-Knicks.
It does, the players aren't there. We don't have players talking crap. But
you never know. This might spark some new rivalries from them playing
fingers
against
crossed.
each other. Yeah. And then we've got the Stars Oilers in the NHL, and then the Panthers Hurricanes are the other teams. So both 1-seed Canadian teams, the Jets and Maple Leafs, both lose. In classic NHL fashion, we now have the Oilers as the only Canadian team, and the other 3 teams are Dallas, Florida, and Carolina, who are, always known for their hockey.
Right.
Which I always think is funny. It's like the cold weather teams are always just losing.
Well, I have to imagine that it's easy to lure good players to warm areas for hockey.
Yeah, that is true. And
so it kind of makes it seem ridiculous that a warm weather team would win, but I get it.
Yeah. Plus, there's probably it's only warm on the outside. You go inside, they're probably like, oh, got out of that heat. Now we're into the air-conditioned ice building. It's
only
probably
warm
nice.
on the outside.
Yeah, it's like a Hot Pocket.
Yep, that's what I was literally about to say. Just like a Hot Pocket. Molten lava, except right in the center.
That's just what every hot weather NHL team stadium's like.
Yep.
And then in baseball, we got the Yankees in first, the Tigers in first, the Mariners in first, the Phillies in first, the Cubs in first, and the Dodgers in first. How was your Dodger birthday game?
Great. They lost. But it was fun. The funniest part, admittedly, was my mom can't accept the world for as it is, I think. And so we went, and she bought these tickets for my birthday, and it was very lovely. And, I got some Dodger dogs. I walked around, drank some, explored the park. They were losing by 4 at one point, so I was like, I'm going to go for a walk. And I had a blast. I got the weirdest part is right where my arm, I guess like my forearm and the top part of my, right near my elbow, but not the elbow, is sunburn on both arms, but nowhere else, just right there, which is very weird. So that hurts. But other than that, I had a great time. My mom, however, I guess because the seats were smaller than usual, my dad couldn't get comfortable, so she was upset about that. My dad wasn't having a good time. And my mom kept apologizing. She's like, these seats I had before were better. And I was like, these are fine. I'm doing all. She's like, oh, and they didn't win on your game. Like all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it was very much like her trying to preempt me being upset, but I wasn't upset. I was having a great time. And I literally had to, in the car on the ride home, be like, stop apologizing. I don't want to hear about the seats anymore. It's fine. I had a good time. You don't need to apologize for something it's not in your, you did nothing. You did nothing wrong. Why are you upset? It's that kind of stuff where I was like, calm down. It's chill. I had a great time. So yeah, I had a good time. I walked around. I looked at stuff. I drank a little. It was good. The guy sitting next to my dad was a Japanese man who he kept claiming in broken English that he was Otani's former roommate in Japan. And we were like, okay.
That's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not sure that man had a former roommate. Pretty sure he's been very good at baseball his entire life and only was ever in baseball lodgings, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if he would have a roommate outside of fellow teammates that would probably also be playing baseball.
Yeah, I was like, all right. But he insisted. And so I was like, oh, yeah? Oh, cool.
What if he's gone to every Dodgers game as a fan and he's just convinced himself of that? So he just tells everybody around.
It's quite possible. Yeah, it's quite possible. I will say it is prevalent that we have a very good Japanese player because the audience was the crowd was a lot of Japanese tourists.
Oh, yeah. That's
there was a lot of lines and stuff because people were trying to translate, and I was like, honestly, I kind of dig it.
Yeah, it's that's why a lot of the Japanese players sign with West Coast teams usually. Plus, they're closer to home. So
and the amount of Japanese food themed things now, pretty insane. My favorite part is they had a there was we were walking by, and I'm not sure how best to describe this, but you know, like takoyaki, the little octopus balls, right? Well, they have a mascot for them, and it's a little tiny ball octopus boy. He's very cute, but what's funny about it is they have stands in the park now at Dodger Stadium where you literally can just get Japanese, like, you know, finger foods.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the best parts was my dad walking by was like, "What's that?" When you're sitting there, they have giant screens, right?
Yeah.
One of the giant screens was broadcasting a full-on commercial for them explaining what they were. And I was like, they know my parents. And I thought that was very cute because it was like, first we take the octopus and then we give it love. And I'm like, okay, all right. It was cute.
That was pretty fun. I mean, we have Japanese players on the Cubs, so we get some like Japanese visitors and stuff like that, but I don't think it's nearly as much as LA.
Yeah, oh no, it was sizable to the point where it wasn't just like a few people here and there. It was noticeable. Everyone who was sitting around us, I would say everyone sitting around us, like, I don't know, 3/5 of them were, I'm not going to say Japanese, but I'll say Asian. And hilariously, even in America, the loudest person, drunk American woman, loudly screaming. Every time they, you know, got a home run against them or couldn't strike out a batter, she was like, "Boo!" like loudly. At one point, it was so funny. She's like, "My 5-year-old could throw better than that." And the guy sitting next to her was like, "You don't have a 5-year-old." She's like, "Yeah, I have a grandson, though." I was like, "Damn, grandma." Okay, she was gone, dude. She was so drunk. Crazy. And I was like, well, I'm glad all these tourists who came here and could barely speak English got to have this great moment.
That's very good.
Yeah. So it was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah. And that's sports.
Okay. Has anyone come to us with tears in the wait? No, we have fact of the day first.
Yes.
And then we get tears. All right.
That's
I'll have
right.
to wait for
Facts
the tears.
then tears.
Right.
Fact of the day.
Yep.
Yes. Here, this one kind of ties back. Fish form orderly queues in emergencies.
Interesting.
Yeah. When evacuating through narrow spaces and sketchy situations, schools of neon tetrafish queue so that they don't collide or clog up the line. Scientists interpreted this behavior as showing that fish can respect social rules, even in emergency situations, unlike humans.
I was about to say. And so I wonder if maybe it's just as simple as the fish are all British, I think is what we learned.
That's true. They might just be British fish.
Oh, quite right. Come, tetras. They get in a line. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ocean's basically tea, you know?
Yeah, when you really think about it.
Yeah, it's basically just tea. So I get it. Checks out.
This is your fact of the day.
All right, who has come to us with tears in their eyes?
We've got tears. Here,
We've got tears.
here are the tears. Dear illustrious sirs, I come before thee with tears in my eyes from seasonal allergies and implore of you, what topics of discussion would each of your parents bring should they ever be guests on this podcast?
I don't know. The best part is I know my mom listens, so she would 100% tell me. Like,
That's
we might
true.
have an update next time of what she would bring.
In fact, didn't she wanted me to talk about the Pope's Portillo's order and eat it on
Yes.
stream, right?
That's true. Yes, she messaged me and said, you should ask Crendor to go get the Pope dog or whatever the hell it is at Portillo's.
Italian beef, yeah.
Yeah, and then report back. Yeah,
The thing
she's
is-
already offering advice.
The thing is, I looked it up. It's pretty much the exact Italian beef order I get when I go to Portillo's. So it's like I kind of already know what it tastes like.
And me thinking you'd be a good Pope continues.
Exactly. I already eat like the Pope.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
just like him.
Yeah, what would your dad talk about?
Ooh, my dad would probably start out making jokes and then veer very quickly into politics. He'd be very progressive yet a little racist at the same time, and I'm like, I just know what would happen. He'd be like, you'd be like, yeah, I agree with this. Oh, no, okay, never mind. Yeah,
Yeah, I think my mom would just be like, I'm just happy to be here, and then my dad would be probably about the same, but he would be telling more jokes. He loves to try to tell jokes.
Yeah, my dad would definitely try to tell jokes, and they'd be inappropriate at best.
Yes, 100%.
It'd be a joke he heard once in 1967 that he thought was amazing, and he'll just do a little retelling, and it's like, Dad, no, not here. You can't.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. And then, Dear illustrious sirs, thank you for replying to my dear illustrious sir. The SCP approval team is democracy-based. If it maintains a net positive rating for 24 hours, it is accepted. And if you get 3 accepted articles up, you can get an official author tag. Oh, so I guess that's how it works.
Wait, what do you mean? What?
The approval system for SCP.
Ah, okay, now we know.
Yeah. There you go. Now you know. That was really
I
a question.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, okay, and I will say based on SCP, last time we were talking about it, I went to go look up some. I forget it's fan-based. Some of them, not necessarily written well.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I read through some and was like, who wrote this? This could be great. Like the idea of what it was, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I started reading it and was like, oh no, this is 7th grade at best. Like, this is rough.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still under the impression that school actually teaches you how to write terribly. Because I had to like unlearn, as I was writing and learning more about writing, you learn that school teaches you essentially to fill your paper with meaningless filler words to hit a word count, right? Because they'll be like, write a 1,000 word essay on whatever. And so you'll be like, this is an essay about the ways that things are in the place called England. And you just like stretch everything out so you can hit the word count. But then when you actually start writing, I think you have to unlearn that because people don't want to read that because it's just, you don't want to read unnecessary words. You just want the shortest sentences possible to get your point across.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely something that, well, at least when I taught, it wasn't a big thing that I was trying to do. I was more about like, whatever your topic is, I want you to write as if you're passionate about it, even though you hate it. You know what I mean? Like, you were assigned this, but I know it's not your first choice. Like, if you were doing a book report, for example, I would be like, okay, I know there's this one girl she'd always have on her, like, erotic books. That was her thing. That's what she read. And I would never hate her for that. I would always be like, yo, new book. And she's like, yeah, this one's about, I don't know, this lady who goes around banging dudes. I don't know, whatever the hell. And I was like, cool. I was like, I'm glad you're reading. Yeah. And when I would explain book reports to her, because she hated reading other books, I'd be like, just write, when you explain to me your books, write to me as if you're explaining the book you love, but it's this book you're forced to read by the state. Just do that. It doesn't have to be 500 pages. Just give it the same care you would for the book about, like, you know, Janice's adventures in, she started her own business, but she's got 3 guys who are interested in her, and she's sleeping with all 3 guys, but they don't know, but when they find out, she's in a world of hurt. And I'm like, all right, yeah, okay. Do the same thing, but for To Kill a Mockingbird. Like, please, it's the same. And it went so much better than everyone has to write 500 words or 6 pages or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you're right. You're completely right. People would do the, like, in ancient Greece, which was an ancient time in Greece, there were many gods, plural, because there was more than one god in ancient Greece. That is because they were not monotheistic, which is the worship of one god. Like, it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't blame people for writing like that because it literally is taught to you, and you're just trying to take the easiest route possible to getting it done.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, it's school. You're like, oh, 500 words? Great. You didn't say they had to be good 500 words.
Yeah. Well, that was probably even worse. People are just like, Chat GPT, write me a book report. Then you get like 30 of the same book reports, and it's like, I know what you all did. Write it again. There's your dear illustrious sirs.
All right. It's time for a big news story of the day. Crendor, this is barely news.
All right.
But I think it is. I think this is the greatest news story I've ever seen. I have a photo for you at the end. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, on Twitter, X, whatever we call it now, the advertisements, as most advertisers have left because that place is a cesspool.
Yeah, right.
Now ads are just random dudes paying for ad space. And
Right.
It is all over the place crazy. I've posted about it before where it's just like, sometimes it's a lady trying to be like, hey, come look at my OnlyFans. And sometimes it's a dude just randomly being like, did you know that Mexicans are going to kill your kids? And it's like, what the hell?
Yep.
Anyway, I found the best version of this, and it's so long and amazing, and I can't believe some dude paid for this. I just need you to know, this is the greatest thing I've ever read, and I'm sure if you went to Twitter right now, you could probably find this ad. Ladies, siren emoji. Here is the brutal truth you need to hear. After 20 years at the top of the game, I have seen it all, and my verdict for the ladies is devastating but true, capitals. Most women are terrible at picking up men. They sit around waiting for guys to approach them and end up with whatever broke, awkward, zero-value loser shows up. No wonder your life is miserable and full of regrets. The path to a dream life is through a high-quality man who protects and provides for his woman. Anything less is a guaranteed life of struggle and regret. If I were a woman, this is the exact roadmap I would use to secure a high-quality man and build the dream life every woman secretly craves. 1. Level up your body to the highest level. Gym, strict diet, full discipline. Men with money and power do not chase average. They want perfection. If your body is average, so is your dating pool. 2. Go full luxury. Book an elite plastic surgeon. New tits are crucial. Every real man loves them. Simple as that. Tight waist, polished face. Like it or not, men are very visual. Upgrade your presentation significantly if you want to attract high-quality men. 3. Start fishing in the right waters. Change your environment. Stop partying with broke boys and begin fishing in billionaire waters. Yacht clubs, luxury hotels, and business lounges are where you find high-quality men. Sounds like prostitution, but okay. 4. Make the first move. By the way, this is an ad. This is some guys. It is so long. I can't believe that this is the stuff that's on there right now. It's incredible. 4. Make the first move. Yes, approach him. A powerful tactic is to write your number on a note with a short compliment and hand it to him. Men respect confident and feminine energy. You will really stand out. And you have just moved ahead of every passive woman still waiting for the right man to show up. 5. It's a numbers game. Like everything else in life, don't settle for anything less than elite quality. The chance that the first man with a watch and a smile is your soulmate is almost zero. Go through your options and experience some rejections. It will only make you stronger. Then sooner or later, you'll find your soulmate, the man who gives you the life all women desperately crave to have. 6. This is very important. Okay. Get a clear photo of his face early and run face recognition online. That gives you a full background access. If he's a broke, weak, or low-value male, walk away immediately. Period. Next. Period. The insanity needs to stop. No more broke men who pay with coupons and split the bill. You have one life. Do not throw it away and end up miserable, full of regrets. Choose a life of high-quality man, and it will become the love story you could never even dream about. Good luck, queens. Play to win. P.S. Yes, I could easily teach any woman how to attract any man she desires and be for women what Andrew Tate is for men, a builder of high-quality value. But I'm on a mission from God, so there's little time for distractions. Therefore, sorry, ladies, the ultimate high-quality man is busy. And I just want to, right now, at the end here, send you this image of the ultimate high-quality man.
Yep, that's pretty much exactly what I was expecting.
My favorite part is at the end of the ad, he just posts this photo of himself. Like, sir, I would not have posted the photo. I just wouldn't have let anyone know. I would be like, no, that's all right.
Yeah, I would not have done that either.
I cannot believe that is someone's not only hot take, which is a crazy thing to say, because it's clear he's not looking for a girlfriend or a wife, but like a prostitute is what he's looking for. And more importantly, he paid for it to be an ad and then was like, I want to be for women what Andrew Tate is for men, but not really, because I'm with God, queens. Bye. Like, it's just one of the craziest things I've ever read, and I know he means it.
Yeah,
which is even funnier.
You definitely know he means it. It's also just, it shows, number one, how bad the Twitter ads and shit are there now. Especially you can make money off tweets and stuff. People are just flooded with spam. It read like he was doing the opposite of Cosmo. Like he was doing his own Cosmo for men.
Yes,
like,
it really reads, even though it's like, dear ladies, this is for you. It really reads as like a thing for guys to read.
Yeah, it feels like he's just talking about his own things and what he wants. Like just being like, you need fake boobs. Like, I don't think if you went around interviewing men, they would all say that. But it's like, I think the worst part about it is a lot of people just be like, this is what men want. And it's like, there's literally billions of men and women. And people being like, this is what women want. It's like, I don't think you can just generalize billions of people.
What's crazy about it, besides all of it, is the fact that the start of it, it's like, okay, he's like, hey, man, I've lived a life that, I don't know, starting at 20 years at the top of my game. I don't think that's accurate at all. But he says, women are terrible at picking up men. That is actually something I agree with, that statement. I think that societally, women have most of the time been told that men will come to you, and you need to give them subtle hints to like let them know it's okay. And no man, I'll say most men can't pick up on that at all. They just can't. It's so funny to watch dudes not realize that a woman's into them. Like, all right, I can agree with that statement. In fact, his next one, number 1, level up your body. I think that's good for everyone. I think everyone should level up their body. But then it's the follow-up paragraph that's insane, where he's like, you need to be on a strict diet. You need full discipline. Men don't want average. They want, like, perfection. I don't know. That sounds psychotic.
That sounds like the guy we saw at that Los Angeles mall being like, you're done eating.
Yes. Exactly. And then he says, 2, go full luxury. And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, yeah, treat yourself, queen. You got this. But the next sentence is, book an elite plastic surgeon. New tits are crucial. I was like, all right, go full luxury is not new tits. I don't think that's what that means. But it is to him, which is hilarious.
And
then he's like, start fishing in the right waters. And I kind of agree. If you want to find someone of a like certain type, go to where that person would be. Like, that makes perfect sense to me.
I agree with that one. That's a good advice.
But he's like, go to yacht clubs, luxury hotels, and business lounges. Again, that's just, you're going to get confused for a prostitute if you do that. Don't do that.
That is, I mean, is that where he goes? Or is he just telling them to go there?
Maybe. I don't know. And then him saying, make the first move. Yeah, look, I think that's great. I think everyone should be able to ask someone out. That's fine. But then he says things like, Men respect confident and feminine energy. But I know his definition of feminine energy and confidence is not my definition.
Oh yeah, I I agree. Yeah, it sounds like he's reading or he's writing his own like fan fiction of what he wants.
In his mind, there is definitely a very particular girl he's thinking of.
Yeah, like he wants.
And he's like, I wish she would ask me out, and then also accept that I think her tits are too small, and I'm gonna make her go to a plastic surgeon. Like, I think that's what's happening here.
Like, I think he wants to go to the yacht club, get invited there by his friends, and then she shows up and is like, "Hey, want to go out?" And he's like, "Damn, you got fake tits and a great personality and feminine energy. Yeah, let's do it."
I must stress, for the record here, there's nothing about personality in here at all.
Yeah, oh, of course not.
Nothing. Personality is not included. Being confident and having feminine energy and approaching men is included. But I would wonder, because at the end he says it's a number game, go through rejection, right?
Right.
How much you want to bet if a woman approached him and said, hey, I think you're great, and she looks exactly how he wants, and he's super into her. And then she said, oh, yeah, no, I've been following your advice for a while, especially number 5 on a numbers game. And I've dated a lot of men. You say here, go through your options, experience some rejections. It'll only make you stronger. Sooner or later, you'll find your soulmate. She's like, you're my soulmate, and I finally found you, and I'm ready to go. Like, even if it was 10 guys, he'd be like, you were with 10 guys before me? Tramp. Like, I just know this type of guy. And it's like, what the hell? It's very clear he's just looking for an anime waifu. It's not a real person he's looking for.
This is definitely the type of guy that goes on Instagram and leaves comments that are at the bottom of the comments section of just like, yo, cutie, hit me up. Are your DMs open? Like, or he's the guy to go into like Twitch streams with girls and just be like, yo, what's up? Looking good today. And if they're like, please don't say that, he'll be like, dumb bitch.
Yeah.
That's definitely this guy.
You know, there's just
an
energy about this post. The fact, again, this is literally just some dude's ramble that he then took and paid to be an ad for what? Again, he's not advertising anything. There's there's no link to click on. There's no brochure to buy. At the end, he's like, ladies, I would love to help you, but I'm with God and I can't. Bye, queens. Like, so what was this? Did you just pay to like talk some shit?
It had to be money that he made off of it or something.
Maybe like it's the exact same vibes when someone subscribes for a subscriber only chat to be like, you suck. It's like, okay, thanks for the money, man. It's a weird vibe. I don't get it.
Yeah. Like the only thing I could think of is like, I know you make money off tweets, so maybe these tweets make money because they generate clicks. And then I will
say it had a lot of views, so maybe, but there's no click. You know what I mean? Like, where are you gonna click?
I don't know how it actually works with Twitter money, so I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
And I don't think we ever will. And that's the big news story of the day.
All right, that's it for us. Thanks so much for listening and watching. I'm enjoying this podcast. Crendor, hit them with the socials.
We've got socials, youtube.com/Cox and Crendor podcast, all one word on YouTube. That's where you can leave the comments for Dear Illustrious Sirs, your weather requests, or any other comments or things you'd like to say. Subscribe, hit the bell, listen, playlists, watch. We got youtube.com/Cox and Crendor. That's where all the animations are. Then we're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We're on SoundCloud. We're on other places. You can find us on our main stuff. We got YouTube Jesse Cox, YouTube Crendor, Twitch Jesse Cox, Twitch Crendor, Facebook Jesse Cox, Facebook Crendor, Patreon Jesse Cox, Patreon Crendor, Instagram Notorious Cox, Instagram Crendor's taken, TikTok Crendor, TikTok Jesse Cox, TikTok, Cren Clips, Cox Clips, yeah.
Again, I just went to Twitter just to see the first ad that popped up. My first ad is literally a photo of Jesus, and it says, Jesus Christ activated God consciousness not through ritual or religion, but through the power of yoga and breath. Where's the ad? Dude, where's the ad?
I mean, yeah, I remember.
He just wanted us to know. Dude was like, everyone needs to know, and I'm willing to pay for this. That's great.
No,
I just can't. I don't know if it's me algorithmically or I don't know what's going on, but I can't believe these are my ads.
That is, 3 Corinthians. Jesus did yoga, topped the hills, unleashed his energy, his chakras. Yeah, I don't know. Tell us any fun tweets you find, advertisements.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Anyway, thanks so much. See y'all next time. And as always,
Shake the rhino.
to be continued.